Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of DSSTERSHOW, the first recorded show in 2023. It's just 5 days in, at least at the time of this recording, and I'm wishing everyone a happy new year, and I'm hoping that, this is the year that you overcome that barrier, that hurdle that you kept hitting, a dead end with. Well, felt like a dead end. Like if there's a certain issue, a barrier, or whether it's mental or physical that you felt like has always stopped you from being, at least getting to the next level of who you are, I'm hoping this is the year you overcome that. So for me, one thing is I need to get comfortable in front of the camera. And as much as I have taken pictures and I've done videos in the past, it always feels new every time. And I think I've always allowed my mind to come up with a bunch of fears. So I'm hoping that as we're on this journey together, as you're overcoming your fears, we're just overcoming our fears together, because being in front of the camera can be so nerve-wracking at times. Like, as the way I might rehearse the words coming out of my mouth in front of the camera is not the same way that it will always come out. So I need to accept that. So I'm not gonna do more than one take on this. So this is me actually on the first take of this video, first and only take, because nothing is perfect. Can't wait for perfection. By my 30th video, we'll come back at this and be like, oh my gosh, look at how much we've grown. Less head movements. But anyway, so I haven't recorded a video or even an audio, a podcast episode for DSSTERSHOW in a really long time. There really is no excuse, because I don't like giving much, credit to fear, although I would say an element of that was the reason, but I guess, and also it's just maybe I'd say time management and a bunch of other things that are always within my power. But with this year, I don't want to end the year talking about the same issues or the same problems. Like I want every year to just keep getting better and better and better, even if it's not always like 100% of what I want. As long as it's not 0% progress, I'm satisfied. So with the new year, I would say what I really wanted to just give, an overview about is I'll say like where I'm at, because I created DSSTERSHOW to help people. At the time when I created DSSTERSHOW, it was very cathartic for me. It was very nice to say some of the things that I said, which at the time was just a podcast. It felt very relieving to say those words out loud, even though some of them were not polite, some of them weren't nice, but at the state of mind that I was at the time, it felt appropriate. So I can't even apologize if anyone does get offended, because if I go back in time and I was in that same state of mind, I would probably say the same thing. But at that time, it was cathartic. It was nice to say all the things that you would typically say to a therapist, just saying it in a microphone, and while at the same time hoping that my experience and the way that I'm feeling and how I express my thoughts is actually validating somebody else out in the world. So, I say I'm grateful for how it started. I'm grateful for how far I've come. If I did a lot more episodes, I could have gotten a lot more views and everything, because that means it's reaching more people. That's the focus. But yeah, so the state of mind I'm in right now, well, there's no point of reflecting on 2022, because I think we've seen enough of that. And just like that, the year 2022 has come to a wrap, or whatever that sound was on Instagram. So I'm not going to give you a recap, but things have changed. My mindset has changed, and I feel more empowered to overcome any barriers I might have and strive towards the things that I've been wanting to strive for a really long time. So this video is just to wish you a happy new year. It's 5 days in at the time of this recording, but it's never too late. So happy new year. I hope this is the year that you get to the next level of who you are. You unpeel one layer of the onion before we get to the core of who you are. And I'm hoping you keep watching, and you have a reason to keep tuning in. I don't know what to say, but one of the things is, rather than actually just focusing on the things, the trauma that's happened to me, telling my story and the things that have happened to me in the past, because I'm going to evidence of these things, of the newspapers, of the articles. And to be honest with you, I really only think that it's not his moment. I forgot the other guy. It's not, the name isn't coming to me right now, but there's this guy that I think he was the host of Top Gear, I still can't remember his name. He said something in a newspaper and he was saying, oh, like he'll be happy if you run around naked, doing something, blah blah blah. And when people then had a big backlash to that, that's when he apologized. Obviously he didn't mean that, because these newspapers that printed such a disgusting article, such a disgusting statement, they have editors. They're very popular, very big. Like, are we really gonna believe that someone printed that, an editor read that, and like you can't just make it seem as if it's slipped through the cracks. Like someone read that and thought it's appropriate to be said against Meghan Markle, so let's print it out because we don't give a shit about her. So I don't really understand what has to happen for people to believe black women. But it's stories like this that I'll like make reference to my experience, but it's not just gonna be about black women or black stories. I would say it's just things that happen in the world. While I do have your attention, I mean, if you go back to that Meghan Markle thing, like, if you think about it, what has to happen for people to believe her? Because it's not like they made anything up. Everything that they're referring to was printed out. All these newspapers, they have record of the months, days, years, every single article that has been printed every single time. They've had they have a copy of it, so she's not making all these things up. And then even though Piers Morgan had to, try to point out the fact that maybe some of the pictures of paparazzi that was used in the documentary were of him with his ex-girlfriend, or they weren't relevant to where they were at the time. Like, does it really make a difference? Does that take away from the fact that the newspaper allowed Meghan to be painted as this bad person, to pit her against Kate? I don't know what their personalities are at, like William and Kate, but nobody's perfect, so I don't know what they are. But these things there's evidence of it, and people still so badly want to not believe her. And if you go to Megan Thee Stallion as well, I don't know why Tory Lanez now also thinks that putting the scripture on Twitter and saying no weapon formed of any fashion against me shall prosper, which is true, but Megan was also shot. So if you're saying that you did not shoot her, you know who did. So why are you not lying? It's like, if you're saying no weapon formed of any fashion against me shall prosper, you're practically saying, okay, they're lying against me, I didn't shoot her. But you know who did. It was someone in the car. You can't be trying to gaslight her, say that she wasn't shot, that she stepped on a shard of glass. Now that we have the new recording of when she was in the ambulance. So it happened. If you didn't do it, somebody did it. And if you didn't do it, who did it? Like, that means you're protecting the person. So you're kind of really working against yourself here, because if you believe in the faith, if you believe in that scripture, on the faith, if you believe in that scripture, the fact that God is saying no weapon formed of any fashion against you shall prosper, then you should also know that it applies to everybody else too. No weapon formed of any fashion against her shall prosper. You are lying against her. So I think I'm making sense. But despite all of that, it's been 2 years, and look at the hate, and it's not surprising, but sometimes it is surprising. It's like with Meghan Markle, you see the evidence, they're not believing her. With Megan Thee Stallion, she was shot, she went to the ambulance. There's so much evidence there that it's like, how delusional do people want to be just for the sake of not believing a black woman? And as much as I'm sure people are tired of hearing, oh, black women this, black women that, even black people that, you cannot be as tired as we are of experiencing it. It's not the same. It will never be the same. And despite the fact that, yes, black people have the shared racism that is still rampant today in America with their guns, and in the UK with their professional lingo and police brutality and all these things, there's also a separate fight that black women are fighting. Because if you think about it, it feels like everywhere, wherever there's groups of people, there's always going to be a divide. There's black and there's white. Between black people, there's like light skin and then there's dark skin. And there's also black women. There's also the women's fight as well, just in general, including white women, because we earn less than men. So imagine black women, we're fighting against the whole racism that has taken over the world, and then we're also fighting the fight of being a woman, trying to see us, trying to prove in one way or another that we are worthy, we are capable of, doing all these things just like men. So it's a burden, it's a big burden to carry, but we are strong enough. But people just tend to give us a high five of, congratulations of being the stereotypical strong black woman. But we don't want that. We just want justice. But I digress. So I've been rambling on right now. I don't know what I started talking about, but I know it was relevant. But anyway, it's things like that I'll be talking to, and when it's necessary, relate it back to my experience. But I think what I'm gonna create this sister show to be is an actual talk show talking about the things that are going on in the world. So stay tuned. We have 360 days left. We shall see what will happen at the end by God's grace. And I'll see you when I see you, if I see you. Thank you.